Hey fellow garlic growers and other gardeners, I suppose. It's about 2 months since I harvested the garlic, and look what has grown. It's like I planted grass and weeds. The only thing I can think of is the horse manure that I used to enrich the soil, which worked great. Must have had a lot of undigested seed in it, so it's as if I planted all this stuff. Luckily it seems to be pulling out pretty easily, but I guess this is one negative of using horse manure, is that you may be putting a lot of weed seed into your garden. Alright, the garlic bed is weeded. I tried to get it done before all those weeds had seeded, ready to drop, and I think I was successful for the most part. But depending on how the weeds were tangled, some other seeds did get stripped off here and there. So hopefully, since I've got another couple months or so till I plant, those seeds will germinate and I'll have an opportunity to till them under before I plant. Well, it's November 11th, Veterans Day here in the United States. And I wish I would have gotten the garlic planted by now, but so be it. This is the first time I've had to really get out here since I weeded all the weeds that grew after I harvested the garlic. And you can see I definitely left some weed seed in here. I tried very carefully not to lose any, but clearly I did. So I got to go through here and pull out all these little weeds before I till it up to plant the garlic. So over here I did put a little brush and stuff and burned it off to try to cut down the weeds a little bit, but I do need to turn over at least a portion of this for the elephant garlic and the soft neck garlic. Well, this happens every year. As I'm out here weeding, I see there's some weed garlic. This one is growing between the paving stones and the board. There's some little ones there, some more there, almost like a whole head was left behind. And they all started growing. There's another one there. And over here in the corner where the soft neck garlic was planted, there's definitely two that are still in the position where they were planted last year. And they must have been really small, and so the tops were dead and we didn't even notice them to pull those heads. And they don't appear to have split, so I'm going to leave those in place and just let them grow till next year. Hopefully with an extra whole year of growing, they'll be real big and good to use for seed. And there's just a few more sprinkled in here and there. Either they were little cloves that got missed, but I didn't let any garlic here go to seed, so I'm confused how things can still end up left behind, especially that one between the paving stones. I don't get it. Alright, it is November 24th. This is the day I'm finally going to get to plant the garlic. It is going in at least a couple weeks later than I would have liked. I was kind of hoping to get the garlic planted end of October this year, but it's been mild and the weather has now turned, and I probably should have got this in a week ago. But all life is an experiment, so we'll see how well the garlic does this season, getting planted in the essentially what is the last week of November. Okay, the bed is prepared. It's all turned over with a shovel and loosened up with a small garden rake, but it's ready to go. I still have enough daylight, so I'm going to get this done. Alright, in preparation for planting the garlic this year, it is getting a bit late in the season, but it's never too late to plant garlic, as long as the ground's not frozen. But this was the soft neck garlic that I grew last year, which started with little tiny cloves, mostly this size I think. And you can see I got some bigger ones and a few good sized ones that would be eatable size. But I need to use the biggest ones for seed in the hopes that all these 26 or so cloves will get
that size next year. Well, will give me a whole head of cloves that size. And the soft neck garlic makes a lot of cloves, like 7 to 11 or something. It seems like a ton of cloves in one head. So it's easier to reproduce soft neck garlic, or to expand how much you want to grow, because it makes so many cloves. The hardneck garlic that I'm used to growing, you sometimes get as few as 3 and sometimes as many as 7 cloves in the head. So on average, it's about 5, I would say. And so when you replant, you need to reserve 20% of your garlic to replant the next year. For softneck, it would be more like 10% or maybe 12%. So it's a little bit easier to produce softneck, I would say, assuming you were getting all bigger cloves, which I'm not really sure you do, because this is only going to be my second year growing it. Alright, I have identified the 3 heads of elephant garlic. This one was the one that had the weird flower, and you can see how some cloves are wrapped in extra paper, and the cloves kind of change size as they go around to some degree, so you end up with like a smaller one over here. This one is the same way. The whole head is smaller, but you have some cloves here with an extra layer of paper, and the cloves get smaller coming around like this. And then this is the other one I wasn't sure of initially because it lost so much of its paper, but looking at it carefully, I can see that this has more layer of paper on it than the rest of them, and there's the same sort of progression of clove sizes coming around like this. And the hardneck garlic normally grows much more evenly and symmetrically. So I'm certain that these are all the elephant garlic, so they will all get replanted in their own bed with the softneck garlic. Alright, this is the elephant garlic cloves. We have 8 good-sized ones that should make good-sized plants, and then 2 medium-sized ones that will hopefully make a good-sized seed for the following year. And then a whole bunch of little ones from, the 2 smaller heads. And the one head looked like it's got some fungus or something. I'm not even sure I want to plant those in the garden. I'll probably pitch those into the tree line with these tiny soft neck. And if it grows, great. If not, so be it. So probably just 10 cloves of elephant garlic this year, but good sized cloves. So next year we should definitely be tasting some elephant garlic. Alright, so I'm going to demonstrate how to break up a head of garlic to get the cloves to use for seed. I like to use my thumbnail to break the papers on the outside, and then I grab the stick and kind of pull to loosen them up like this. And when it pops, the stick will come out and you separate your cloves. And so even a nice big head of garlic, some cloves will be bigger and some cloves will be smaller. And you can choose whether you want to plant the small ones or not. I'm going to plant them on the south side so they'll get more sunlight than the bigger plants and not get overshadowed necessarily by the bigger plants. Some nice big ones in there. And so these are the cloves that function as seed, and you plant them root side down, and when they grow up into a nice good size, there's going to be 5 to 7 cloves on it, and you'll have awesome garlic. Alright, there's the massive pile of seed cloves for the garlic this year. Those are the stems that they were pulled off of, and it seems like quite a lot, doesn't it? Well, it is a lot. It takes a lot of garlic to grow a lot of garlic. I was originally planning to put smaller cloves along the front here and the bigger ones towards the back to let the smaller ones not be shaded out so much.
But I'm just lucky, I feel, just to be getting the garlic planted. So I'm not going to take the time to sort the cloves. I'm just going to get them in the ground however they come out of the bag. But I've got this stick that I'm using as a dibble, which is to just make a hole, and then you drop in the garlic. Make a hole, drop in a garlic clove. Just a clove. A whole head would be bad, not good, because there wouldn't be room for all those cloves to grow together, and then you'd end up with a whole bunch of little heads of garlic instead of nice big juicy ones that you want. Juicy. There's an interesting term for garlic. But that's all it takes. It's super simple. I really like using the rack. It helps me make perfect rows, and works out well for me. So if you ever thought about giving garlic growing a try, I recommend it. It's simple. You do it off season compared to everything else, so it gives you something else to do when everything else is already done. Well, I was hoping to shoot a quick video of the bed once it was complete, so you could see all the nice evenly spaced holes, but I'm running out of direct sunlight, and the direct sunlight helps the holes stand out with contrast. So here's how it looks. It's about 3/4 done. I will get this finished and spread some mulch over it. I've got last year's roots and stalks saved up in this box, all dried and ready to spread over top as a mulch. I will spread the topsoil over the tops of the holes so that covers the garlic, and then spread the mulch over that. And over here is the little bed for soft neck and elephant garlic, to keep it separate from the regular hard neck that I grow. Okay, it's all planted, all covered. Step one of covering is pine needles. I have these long pine needles from some trees in the yard, and I've been doing this for a few years now, and it seems to help keep the weeds down until the garlic can come up and make enough shade that the weeds don't get a hold. Next step will be leaves. I'm going to take it easy on the leaves this year because they're wet. In past years I was able to smash up the leaves into smaller pieces, so I wasn't afraid of putting too much on. The garlic would find its way through, but this year everything's wet, so I'll take it easy on the leaves. And then I'll put on the stalks and stems and roots from last year's harvest to basically try to keep the leaves from blowing away. Okay, the sun is setting, and I have finished planting the garlic. Huzzah! I've got right about 400 head total, plus or minus a dozen or so. But there it is, all finished up. Garlic snug and cozy in their little holes, ready to start growing. And there's a little bed over there with elephant garlic and soft neck. And then sort of right over here where you can see some green, I planted the weed garlic that was growing in the main bed when I was getting ready to plant this. So it's just kind of stuck in the ground over there. If it does good, great. If not, no big deal. And I'm just going to leave that box to hold down some weeds as it decays. And that'll do it. November 24th, 2024. And come July 2025, we'll see how it turned out.